when the plane breaks through the clouds and the first glimmer of turquoise water appears beneath the wings, something changes in the hearts of those seeing the Philippines for the first time. It's subtle at first, a quiet awe that sneaks in between breaths, but it grows stronger with every passing minute. From above, the islands look like emerald fragments scattered across a sea so blue it seems unreal. The light hits the waves differently here. The air itself feels lighter, as if carrying a promise you can't yet name. The moment the doors open, a soft warmth greets you, not just from the tropical breeze, but from the people waiting inside the terminal. Smiles that don't feel forced, voices that carry a melody of welcome. There's laughter, chatter, and a calm sense of belonging that feels strange yet comforting. It's not the sterile, hurried energy of most airports. Here, even strangers seem to radiate kindness. And that's how the Philippines begins to work its quiet magic. It doesn't rush to impress you. It lets you breathe it in, one smile, one wave, one sunset at a time. Outside, jeepneys roll past like colorful stories painted on wheels, flashes of red, gold, and blue, each one telling its own tale of journeys taken and memories shared. The air smells of roasted corn, sea salt, and rain. Street vendors call out cheerfully, and children laugh as they chase bubbles that shimmer in the late afternoon sun. The world feels alive, but not overwhelming. There's rhythm in everything. A heartbeat you can feel even if you don't understand the language. Then comes the first glimpse of the ocean. Not just any ocean, one that seems to stretch beyond time. In Palawan, the water glows like liquid glass. In Boracay, it hums with the energy of life and music. In Siargao, the waves move like they're dancing to the wind. Standing there, most visitors don't speak. They just stare into the endless blue, the horizon where sky kisses sea. For some, it's the first time in years they've felt truly still. For others, it's the first time they realize how small yet connected they are to the world. And sometimes, that's when the tears come, quietly, without warning. It's not sadness. It's release. The kind that happens when beauty and peace meet in the same moment. The kind that makes you wonder how something so simple can touch you so deeply. Days in the Philippines have a different rhythm. Time slows down, not out of laziness, but because the islands demand you to see. Morning light spilling through palm leaves. The hum of tricycles on narrow streets. The distant sound of karaoke echoing from a small house by the water. Every detail feels like part of a bigger story, one that's written not in books, but in the way people live. You meet locals who wave even when they don't know you. A fisherman offers you a piece of grilled fish, still warm from the fire. A child, barefoot and laughing, hands you a seashell and tells you it's lucky. These are small gestures, yet they linger longer than the grandest of sights. The Philippines teaches you that kindness doesn't need translation. It's felt immediately, deeply, and permanently. In remote villages, visitors often find themselves sitting around wooden tables, sharing meals cooked with love and simplicity. The food tells stories of heritage and home: adobo, sinigang, lechon, and halo-halo, each bite filled with flavor and history. But what truly moves people isn't the taste. It's the way Filipinos share their food, with laughter, insistence, and an open heart. It's never my food. It's our food. And somehow, that single word changes everything. At sunset, the beaches glow gold. Couples walk hand in hand. Families gather by the shore, and fishermen pull in their last catch of the day. The air is filled with a sense of peace, not the kind that demands silence, but the kind that lets you breathe freely. Many travelers say that in those moments, they forget everything that waits for them back home: deadlines, noise, expectations. Here, the only thing that matters is the sound of the waves, the laughter of children, and the sun slowly disappearing behind the mountains. And then there's the music. In every corner of the Philippines, music weaves through daily life like an invisible thread. Someone always has a guitar. Someone is always singing, not for an audience, but because joy naturally finds its voice here. On one street, a group of teenagers harmonize to a love song in Tagalog. On another, an elderly man hums a tune from decades ago, his eyes soft with memory. The songs are full of heartache and hope, yet somehow they leave listeners smiling. That's the Filipino spirit, resilient, warm, and deeply human. Festivals explode with color and sound. Dancers whirl through the streets in costumes that shimmer under the sun, drums beating with primal energy. The Sinulog in Cebu, the Panagbenga in Baguio. Each one feels like a heartbeat amplified, a celebration of life itself. Tourists often come expecting spectacle, but they leave with something else, emotion. Because it's not just a performance, it's identity, faith, community, all expressed in a way that pulls you in and refuses to let go. Somewhere between the dancing and the laughter, many find themselves crying again. Tears not of sorrow, but of awe. It's the moment they realize they're not outsiders anymore. The Philippines doesn't just welcome you, it adopts you, if only for a while. But the magic of this country doesn't live only in its beauty or celebrations. It's also found in the quiet. In the mountains of Bano, where ancient rice terraces carve patterns into the earth like fingerprints of time. In the calm waters of Bohol, where the reflection of the moon feels close enough to touch. In small villages where people live simply, humbly, yet always with a smile that feels like home. Visitors often say it feels like the country speaks to their soul, wordlessly, gently, reminding them of what really matters. And yet, the deeper one travels, the more one senses that there's something even more profound hidden beneath the surface. Something that explains why so many leave in tears. It's not just beauty or kindness. It's something harder to define. Maybe it's the contrast, how joy and hardship live side by side here, and how Filipinos somehow turn pain into music, storms into laughter, and struggle into grace. Maybe that's what touches visitors most, the strength that hides behind the smiles. One evening, as the sun melts into the horizon, a visitor sits by a small fishing dock in a rural town. A group of locals gathers nearby, laughing as they share food from a single pot. The visitor joins them, hesitant at first, but soon laughing too, feeling like family. The stars begin to appear one by one, reflecting in the calm water. A little boy looks up and says softly, "You'll miss this when you go." The visitor smiles, not realizing yet how true those words will become. Because what begins as a simple trip, beaches, food, culture, soon becomes something else entirely. The Philippines doesn't just show you beauty. It shows you humanity at its purest. And once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. You start noticing how different the world feels when people choose kindness over convenience, connection over comfort. You begin to wonder, what if the rest of the world lived like this? As the visitor stands to leave, a warm breeze carries the sound of distant singing, a love song carried across the night. It's hauntingly beautiful, and for reasons they can't explain, their eyes fill with tears. Maybe it's the simplicity, maybe it's the sincerity, or maybe it's because deep down they realize something is shifting inside them. Tomorrow they'll travel deeper, into the mountains, into the heart of the Philippines. They think they've seen the country's beauty, but what waits ahead will challenge everything they thought they knew about life, happiness, and what it truly means to belong. The journey into the heart of the Philippines begins long before you realize it. It starts with a simple act, someone offering you a ride, a stranger sharing food, or a child smiling at you for no reason at all. But as the days go by, those gestures start to mean more. You begin to understand that what makes the Philippines unforgettable isn't something you can photograph or buy. It's something that lives quietly in the hearts of its people. As the traveler moves inland, the scenery changes. The coastline fades into winding roads, rice fields stretching endlessly beneath the sun. In the distance, mountains rise like sleeping giants draped in mist. The journey feels slower here, more intimate. Locals wave as they pass by, sometimes stopping their motorbikes just to ask where you're headed, not out of curiosity, but concern. In a world that often rushes past human connection, the Philippines slows you down and reminds you that kindness still exists. In a small village nestled between two hills, life unfolds in its purest form. Wooden houses stand on stilts, roosters crow at dawn, and children run barefoot through narrow paths lined with banana trees. The air smells of coffee, smoke, and rain. It's the kind of place where time doesn't chase you. It invites you to stay. A woman invites the traveler to join her family for lunch. The table is simple: rice, dried fish, and vegetables picked fresh from the backyard. But the laughter is rich. Everyone eats with their hands, sharing stories between bites, passing plates with ease and warmth. There are no introductions, no formality. In a matter of minutes, you're part of their world. When they laugh, you laugh too. When they thank you for coming, you realize they mean it from the heart. It's here that many travelers experience something they can't quite describe: a sense of belonging in a place far from home. Maybe it's the way Filipinos treat strangers like relatives, or how every conversation feels sincere, even without words. Maybe it's the way life here feels beautifully imperfect, raw, real, and full of soul. But it's not always easy. The Philippines is a country of contrasts, where joy and hardship walk hand in hand. You'll see families living by the sea, their homes made of bamboo and tin, weathered by countless storms. Yet in those same homes, you'll hear laughter louder than any thunder. You'll see children playing with nothing but sticks and sand, and somehow their happiness feels boundless. And that's when it hits you. How can people who have so little give so much? How can they smile so freely in the face of struggle? That realization is often the moment when the tears come again, this time not from beauty, but from admiration. Because in the Philippines, hope is not an idea. It's a way of life. The traveler continues north, through winding roads and hidden valleys. In the distance, the Bano rice terraces rise like emerald steps to the sky. Carved by hand more than 2,000 years ago, they stand as living proof of resilience, passed down through generations. Mist curls around the mountains as the morning light spills across the terraces, turning everything gold. Standing there, it feels like you're looking at the soul of a nation, ancient, proud, enduring. Locals tell stories of their ancestors, of how they shaped the land stone by stone without machines or maps. "We build with our hearts," an elder says, his hands rough but steady, "because the land is part of our family." The traveler listens, silent, humbled. It's then they realize that the Philippines isn't just beautiful, it's sacred. Every mountain, every wave, every grain of rice carries the weight of history and love. And yet, it's not the landscapes that make people cry. It's the people themselves. In another town, the traveler meets a teacher who walks 2 hours every morning to reach her classroom, a small bamboo hut filled with laughter and chalk dust. She teaches barefoot children who sit on worn-out benches, their eyes bright with dreams. "They want to be doctors, pilots, teachers," she says softly. "So I walk every day, even when it rains." Her smile doesn't fade, even when she admits her salary barely covers her food. "Happiness isn't about what you have," she adds. "It's about what you give." Moments like that stay with you forever, because you realize this country isn't just rich in beauty. It's rich in humanity. Later, in a fishing village, the traveler helps a group of locals pull in a net at dawn. The sky glows orange, the sea calm and endless. They laugh together, hands soaked in salt and effort. When the catch turns out small, no one complains. They share it equally, saving the best pieces for the elderly. "That's how it is," one man says with a grin. "We share the good days and the bad ones." That's Bayanihan, the Filipino spirit of community, where everyone helps everyone else. You see it everywhere. In neighbors rebuilding a house after a storm, in strangers pushing a broken tricycle, in families who open their homes to travelers they've just met. It's in the way people greet each other with genuine care, saying "Kumain ka na?" "Have you eaten?" instead of "How are you?" Because here, caring means feeding the soul before the story. The traveler begins to understand that the Philippines doesn't try to impress, it connects. It doesn't show off wealth, it shows warmth. And that's what breaks you, in the best possible way. At night, under a blanket of stars, the air hums with the sound of the ocean and distant laughter. Someone strums a guitar nearby, singing a soft Filipino ballad about love and loss. The melody floats across the waves, full of emotion that transcends language. The traveler feels a lump in their throat, Maybe it's the music, maybe it's the people sitting close, sharing stories of loved ones who've gone abroad to work, chasing dreams for their families. Their eyes glisten with pride, not regret. Because sacrifice, too, is an act of love here. And that's when the truth becomes clear. The tears people shed after visiting the Philippines aren't just for what they see, but for what they feel. The country reflects the parts of ourselves we often forget: gratitude, kindness, and the simple joy of being alive. But sometimes, that reflection hurts. One evening, the traveler visits a small coastal town recently struck by a typhoon. The streets are muddy, homes damaged, but there's laughter echoing from a makeshift basketball court. Children are playing barefoot, chasing a ball patched together with tape. Mothers are cooking by candlelight. Fathers are fixing roofs under fading light. Life goes on unbroken. The traveler helps distribute relief goods, rice, water, blankets, and sees something remarkable. People who've lost almost everything insist on sharing their food with the volunteers. "You came to help us," they say, "so now we help you." That moment changes everything. The tears that fall now are different, heavier, deeper. Because it's one thing to see beauty. It's another to witness grace in the midst of pain. Later that night, as rain begins to fall again, the traveler sits by the shore. The sea, dark and vast, seems to whisper something. Not words, but a feeling. A promise that even in hardship, life can still be beautiful. The people here don't cry because they're broken. They cry because they feel deeply, honestly, without fear. And maybe that's why visitors do the same when they leave. The Philippines doesn't just show you how to live. It teaches you how to feel again. It strips away the noise, the rush, the constant wanting, and replaces it with something quieter and stronger: gratitude. As dawn breaks, the traveler prepares to leave the village. Locals wave goodbye, pressing food into their hands, refusing payment. A small girl runs up and gives them a hand-drawn picture of the sea. "So you won't forget us," she says shyly. The traveler smiles through tears, realizing forgetting is impossible. Because once the Philippines touches you, it stays. The boat drifts away slowly from the shore, the sound of laughter growing faint behind. The traveler looks back one last time. The people are still waving. The sun is rising over the water, painting everything gold again. And in that moment, something inside shifts. A quiet understanding that life's true treasures aren't made of things, but of moments, people, and love freely given. They think the journey is ending. But what they don't know yet is that the Philippines never really lets you go. It follows you. In every smile you give, every small kindness you show, every time your heart feels full for no reason. The plane ticket might say return flight, but part of you will always stay. And as the traveler wipes a tear and whispers goodbye, they hear the echo of a familiar voice: the little boy from the dock. "You'll miss this when you go." The traveler smiles sadly, knowing he was right. But what if coming back doesn't feel the same? What if the real reason people cry isn't because they're leaving the Philippines, but because they realize they're leaving a piece of themselves behind? Airports have a strange way of silencing emotions. The noise of engines, the shuffle of footsteps, the echo of announcements, everything feels mechanical, detached. Yet, for those leaving the Philippines, it's never just another airport. It's the place where paradise says goodbye. The traveler walks slowly toward the gate, the scent of the ocean still clinging to their clothes, the sound of laughter still ringing faintly in their ears. It should feel easy, another flight, another destination, but it doesn't. Something inside feels heavy, tender. The same country that once felt foreign now feels like home, and the thought of leaving it behind brings a quiet ache that words can't quite capture. From the window seat, the islands appear once more, scattered jewels gleaming beneath the clouds. The same turquoise waters that welcome them now shimmer like tears under the sun. As the plane climbs higher, the traveler feels a pull in their chest, like part of their heart is being left behind, floating somewhere between sea and sky. At first, they think the feeling will fade, that it's just travel nostalgia, the temporary sadness of saying goodbye to a beautiful place. But when they return home, surrounded by city noise and neon lights, they realize it's deeper than that. Something inside them has shifted, quietly but permanently. The world looks the same, but feels different. The pace, the rush, the endless noise, it all seems too fast now. Too loud. Too empty. Days pass, but the Philippines lingers, in the rhythm of waves that echo in memory, in the warmth of smiles that can't be forgotten. When they taste food, it feels dull compared to the laughter-filled meals on the islands. When they meet new people, they search unconsciously for that same sincerity, that same openness that defined every encounter there. It's as if the Philippines taught them how to see life again, and now nothing else looks quite the same. They remember the teacher walking miles to reach your students, the fishermen sharing their small catch, the laughter after the storm. They remember the old man in the mountains who said, "We build with our hearts." And they realize that's what made the Philippines different. It wasn't just a destination. It was a mirror, reflecting what humanity looks like at its most genuine. The traveler begins to understand why so many people cry after their trip. It's not only because they're leaving beauty behind. It's because the country shows them a version of the world they wish existed everywhere. A world where people care without reason, where simplicity feels rich, where gratitude is enough. And once you've seen that kind of world, it's impossible to go back unchanged. Weeks later, while scrolling through photos, they stop at one, a group of locals on the beach, waving goodbye as the boat drifted away. The image feels alive. The colors, the laughter, the warmth, it all floods back in an instant. The tears come again, uninvited but welcome. Because it's not sadness anymore. It's longing, the kind that reminds you something beautiful once touched your life. The traveler starts to notice small changes in themselves. They greet strangers more warmly now. They smile more often, offer help without being asked, say thank you with deeper meaning. It's as though a piece of the Filipino spirit, that Bayanihan, has found a home in their heart. One evening, as rain taps gently against the window, they play a song they first heard on a quiet island night, a Filipino ballad sung by fishermen by the shore. The melody fills the room, soft and nostalgic. And suddenly, they're back there. The sound of waves, the scent of salt, the warmth of people who had so little yet gave so much. They close their eyes and whisper, "I miss you." It's not just a place they miss, it's the feeling, the peace, the humanity. Travelers often say the Philippines changes them, but few can explain how. Maybe it's the way the sun sets remind you that endings can be beautiful, or the way people smile even when life is hard, or how every goodbye feels like a promise, not the end, but an invitation to return. In the Philippines, everything is temporary, the tide, the laughter, even the storms, but somehow the love stays. Months later, the traveler finds themselves planning another trip. They tell friends it's just for vacation, but deep down, they know it's something more. It's a homecoming of the heart. Because when the Philippines touches you, it doesn't let go. It whispers softly from the edges of memory, "Come back. There's still more to feel." Back on the islands, everything looks familiar yet new. The same air, the same laughter, the same scent of mangoes and sea breeze. But this time, the traveler notices things they missed before, the quiet strength in people's eyes, the resilience in every handshake, the gratitude in every thank you, pa. The same child who once handed them a seashell now runs up, taller, smiling shyly. "You came back," she says. And in that moment, everything falls into place. Yes, they came back. Not for the beaches, not for the sunsets, but for the connection that no map can show. The one that lives in every smile, every shared meal, every heartbeat that says, "You are welcome here." As they walk through the village, life continues, people repairing nets, cooking food, singing softly as the sun sinks low. There's a comfort in the ordinariness of it all. Because here, ordinary is extraordinary. It's the kind of beauty that doesn't fade with time. It grows deeper, like the roots of a tree that's weathered 1,000 storms. That night, sitting by the same shore where their journey began, the traveler finally understands the truth behind those tears. People don't cry after visiting the Philippines because they're sad to leave. They cry because the country makes them remember what truly matters. It strips away everything artificial, and leaves you face to face with the raw essence of being human: kindness, humility, love, gratitude. It's not a goodbye that hurts. It's the realization that something so pure, so rare, actually exists, and that you were lucky enough to feel it. The waves crash softly against the sand, carrying whispers of laughter and memories across the water. The traveler looks out at the horizon, the same horizon that once welcomed them with open arms. This time, they don't feel like a visitor. They feel like they belong. And as dawn approaches, painting the sky in hues of gold and rose, they finally smile, a tear slipping down their cheek, not from sadness, but from gratitude. Because the Philippines didn't just give them memories. It gave them perspective. It reminded them that happiness doesn't come from what you own, but from what you share. That beauty isn't found in perfection, but in the courage to smile through life's imperfections. That love, at its truest form, is giving without expecting anything in return. That's why people cry after visiting the Philippines. Because somewhere between the laughter of strangers, the taste of home-cooked meals, the music of the waves, and the warmth of 1,000 smiles, you rediscover yourself. You realize the world is still full of goodness. You realize that despite everything, humanity still shines brightest here. The Philippines doesn't just stay in your memories, it stays in your soul. Long after you've returned home, when life gets noisy and heavy again, you'll close your eyes and remember the laughter of children on a sunlit beach, the voices singing into the night, the feeling of belonging to something greater than yourself. And if you listen closely, you'll still hear it. The sound of waves whispering one simple truth. You never really left.